The following is a presentation of Jacob Sports.
And welcome in everyone to another edition of the National High School Wrestling Show with Henry Racich. I'm Joe Kraus with Jacob Media. Henry, good to see you again. Got a great lineup tonight. Wow. Coming off of a big wrestling weekend, you've put together a fantastic show for this episode of the National High School Wrestling Show. How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm doing great, Joe. What a great weekend at Escape the Rock out in Council Rock, PA. Saw a lot of upsets happen this weekend. Got a chance to run into some of the country's top high school wrestlers at these tournaments every weekend we go to. And every weekend, there's always a surprise every weekend. So I'm fired up about tonight's show. We're going out of state tonight. We were in PA last week with the Bachman and Bassetts. Now we're heading into Jersey and Ohio this week. Very excited about our guests coming on. Very excited to dive into the world of wrestling outside of the great state of PA, which we all know is one of the number one, if not the number one wrestling state in the country. Now I'm pumped up, Joe. It's going to be a great show.
Yep, sounds good. Coming up out of our first break, Josh Moore, head coach, Cleveland State, will join us. And then on the other side, as you said, you're going over to Jersey. We'll talk with a wrestler and his head coach from St. Joe's Prep in Montvale. All that coming up. Plus, we'll provide some updates for you here on the National High School Wrestling Show with the great coach, Henry Racich. We'll take a short pause for a break here. On the other side, Josh and Henry on the National High School Wrestling Show. Back in a moment.
What if you could earn an MBA fully online in just 10 months for only $9,900? Eastern University's cutting-edge MBA in Organizational Management is designed to fit what you need in an MBA program. Our innovative LifeFlex model offers 100% online classes that you can complete at your own pace within each 7-week semester. We know how hard you work for your money, so we're thrilled to offer our MBA at only $9,900, making our program between 50 to 80% less expensive than most other schools, while ensuring quality and excellence with the support of our expert faculty. We even offer a concentration in business analytics, an essential skill set needed in today's data-driven economy. With start dates every 7 weeks, Eastern's MBA is handcrafted for you and your needs. So what are you waiting for? Apply today at eastern.edu/MBA.
All right. We are back. I am Henry Racich with the National High School Wrestling Show, and I am blessed and honored to have Coach Josh Moore from Cleveland State joining me tonight on the Wrestling Forum. Coach, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing, man. We're, in the middle of the season, on the grind, just having a good time, enjoying it.
I really appreciate you coming on tonight. I know you probably drug you out of your PJs there. You're ready to hunker down, but I really appreciate you agreeing to come on here last minute. I know the life of a college coach is not seasonal. I believe it's a year-round grind for you guys. Mm-hmm. And I'm happy and I'm blessed to bring you in front of all these high school kids who are going to be watching.
Yeah.
And hopefully we draw a couple of recruits in your direction one day.
Let's do it, man.
So Coach, I want to do a quick summary of your illustrious career. Man, I'm looking at your bio, man. It goes on and on and on. Wrestled at Penn State, 2-time NCAA All-American. Man, you still have records up there, right? To this day. I'm just making sure I'm up to date here. Looks like you hold the record for most all-time matches at Penn State, 184.
I'm feeling it, brother. It's hurting.
Yeah.
It's hurting.
Is all the homage to Pops and Cracks, your own fireworks show in the morning? I can relate.
Someone who told me to stay at home a few of those weekends.
Yeah, well, now you got to pay for all that glory, brother.
Yeah,
it's called Bengay and Tylenol. So what? You have the most pins in the season, 24. Most senior wins at 44. The list goes on and on. That Penn State lineage, brother, it just keeps cranking them out.
Oh, it's real. I mean, it's took a crazy turn in the last 15 years since Cale took over, but not a better place to wrestle. Just the environment, the fans, the atmosphere. I mean, very blessed to have that opportunity. and I know to have my brother alongside me, 3 out of the 4 years I was there was made it even more special.
Yeah, yeah. Your twin brother wrestled with you. I mean, how many tables and furniture did you guys bust up as kids in that house?
There's a few. I think we still have a few walls that are getting patched up at the house, but yeah, we I don't know. I mean, I guess we fought a little bit. I don't know. I guess twins. I think that's the beauty of it. You have a workout partner built in. So
Yeah, I
I
was
think
just
a
gonna
lot of
say,
our fights were more on the mat and then practices than at home. So we made sure to keep those on soft surfaces as much as possible.
well, who's the older? Who's the older brother?
He is by 10 minutes.
Oh, he's 10 minutes on you. Does he ever hold that against you? Hold that over your head?
Nah, not really. Nah, I mean,
Well, he'll be on next week, so
yeah.
I'll get both sides of this story eventually.
Cool.
So, Coach, let's talk about your years at Kent State. You were there for I think 11 years, right?
Correct.
As an assistant in that program.
Yep.
How did that prepare you for the helm when you took over? I mean, your statistics over that 11-year run. I love the golden flashes. Man, that's got to be one of the most coolest, unique monikers and mascots.
Yeah.
But how'd that prepare you for the helm job at where you at now, Cleveland?
Yeah, I mean, I learned so much. I mean, I took that job right out of college at Penn State, and I think every young wrestler kind of believes and thinks like, oh, I'm going to be a good coach. I know everything about it, know what's going on, but until you're in that corner and in a different environment than competing, you don't really know too much. So first initially, just trying to figure out my job duties as an assistant coach. And I think where I did a great job was more of a personal coach and working out with guys like Nick Bedlion, who became a couple-time All-American, and Mike DePalma and Drew Lashaway, all the lightweights there, and even some middleweights. But just, training with those guys while I was still in shape and I could roll pretty good, and just trying to put my personal touch on them and just helping them build confidence. So that was probably the funnest part. Being a younger assistant was being able to get on the mat with these guys and really show them, teach them, and be in the thick of things right with them. And building a lot of trust and respect with the wrestlers is obviously a huge part of being a coach. So, I was lucky enough to be able to do that for a long time. And then we started really picking up some great recruits and guys like Dustin Kilgore and Ian Miller and a lot of studs that came to Kent that probably could have went to a lot of other places, but that was the beauty of being in Ohio and having so many great wrestlers within an hour and a half. And a lot of those guys, we got them because of prior relationships with people we knew, or, their uncles were at Kent or girlfriends went to Kent. I mean, you never know how recruiting is going to work out, but just very lucky to have those type of kids that end up being really, really good wrestlers. And then, when the opportunity opened up to go to Cleveland State, it was good for me, a good change. And, being in one place for 11 years was awesome. I knew how to recruit to Kent and, knew the blueprint of how to build, help build the program along with, the head coach there. And we had a couple good assistants like Matt Hill and a couple other guys along the way, but really just a new opportunity came around, and Cleveland never seemed too appealing to me. But, once I got up there and really just digested everything that the city had to offer, it just really made sense. And really, I mean, we build on those community ties and the networking events, and I mean all the pro sports teams. There's just so much Cleveland State can offer, and finally finding the best way to really sell Cleveland State in the city and the opportunities that exist that they don't have. There's not many schools that can provide the same opportunities that Cleveland State does. So it's been great. It's definitely was a process once I got the head coaching job again, I still had a lot to learn even after being an assistant for so long, but
Right.
I think I'm finally starting to figure it out, after coaching for 20 years and in a good place with a really great group of young men who are focused on academics first. And, wrestling we're doing pretty well wrestling wise as far as, results in the conference and getting guys to nationals. But beyond that, we're really preparing our guys to be successful in life. And there's a lot of people that talk about doing that, but we're actually doing it and connecting our kids, and they're getting great co-ops and internships and meeting people that are going to hire them before they graduate. So it's a special opportunity that we're really embracing and just having fun with.
Right, Coach. Now we're going to get into a little bit because I was reading through your bio here and the things that you are doing at Cleveland State. And academically, lights out, off the charts. We're going to get into that, but I want to go back in time, good on memory lane for a second. When you got the call, you decided to make the jump from Kent State to Cleveland State as the head coach. Were the butterflies like a national championship match? I mean, what was it like for you? Because you had to raise the bar, and you get to put your footprint on the whole organization. Walk me through that process a little bit.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a little nerve wracking. Just the process, the interviewing process. I mean, you never really know what's going to happen with things. I mean, in my mind and my, I guess, mentors and support staff, I knew I was the guy for the job, and I knew what I brought to the table. And, but yeah, when I got the call, I was actually on vacation. We had a trip planned to Disney with some friends and the family. And I was hoping to find out maybe before I left on the trip, but no decisions had been made at that point. And then finally, I think we were down there 2 or 3 days, and I got the phone call. So it was a great trip, but just excited to get back home and kind of get to work and lay the foundation that I wanted to lay and really get kind of the vision started and start working. And but it was, the first couple of years were pretty rough and interesting, and just a learning process. And again, thought I had an idea of what I wanted to do, and I think we were able to execute it really well. And I couldn't be happier with where the program is and the type of kids we have on the team, and our GPA and our results, and just we talk about character a lot. I mean, you see so much going on in sports and college, and some stuff is, it's fun. I mean, it might get a lot of attention, but maybe not the best character situations. And our guys, their characters, I mean, it's flawless, and they're just great young men that have incredible sportsmanship and just willing to help others and support others. And that's what makes me the proudest. I mean, I love winning wrestling matches and, beating PA teams. We got a couple PA teams coming in this weekend with Bloomsburg and Clarion. So I love doing that. I mean, that's great, but just all this extra stuff is really something that, I think is the biggest part of me being a head coach, is being able to really make sure these kids are getting everything they need and provided an experience like no other school can provide to them.
So Coach, I mean, 11 All-American academic honorees, 11. I mean, I know the general public thinks of, college jocks, football players, wrestlers, meatheads.
Right.
I mean, 11 All-American academic honorees. I mean, that is an astounding statistic. I mean, you're second in the NCAA, 3.57 grade point average. How do they do? I mean, so I have a freshman at Faith who's juggling 4 classes, and he thinks he's like in a NASA rocket ship building program. He's stressing out over wrestling, managing the books. How does that happen? You guys break books out in between drills? I mean, what is going on up there?
Yeah, no, I'm not. Honestly, I every semester I'm impressed. I mean, we always talk about, hey, we want a 3.5 GPA, and I don't know. I mean, we talk about it a lot, but still year after year, these guys impress me so much. And if you look at the majors our guys are in, and we have 13 guys in STEM degrees, which is, mostly engineering, some health sciences, guys wanting to be physical therapists, doctors, nurses. And then we have a lot of guys in the business program, which is really great at Cleveland State. And two of our best degrees at Cleveland State. And we kind of recruit to that profile and look for kids that want to go into those programs, knowing we can offer them a ton of resources and advice and really set them up. So, back in my day, it was like criminal justice and communications and all those degrees. But these guys crush it. And that's part of the process with recruiting. I mean, we honestly, most of our recruits are a 3.5 to a 4.0. And some kids are beyond a 4.0, which is incredible. And, we're getting, actually tomorrow night, we're getting honored at a basketball game. And we have 32 of our 35 guys are above a 3.0 GPA. So it's really unheard of. And I think how we're able to do that is our guys. I mean, we're not a typical college town where there's, maybe a lot of extra activity stuff going on the weekends.
Bars? You mean bars?
Yeah. Well, there's bars in Cleveland, but yeah, I mean, campus is pretty quiet. I mean, it's a smaller size campus that guys can stay focused.
Right.
Great group of guys. They hang out together. They do Bible studies in the locker room. They study together. But yeah, I mean, especially in the winter, it's a little bit cold up in Cleveland, but when spring rolls around and you got the Guardians playing, 4 blocks from campus and Edgewater Beach, I mean, it's just, it's an awesome city to be a part of. And our guys are able to take advantage of all that stuff.
Yeah. So Coach, I mean, you went to Penn State. I mean, that is literally, the wrestling mecca these days, one of top 3, always in the mix, always in the conversation. A campus like Penn State, hundreds of thousands of people come up for football games. I mean, that's not necessarily happening at Cleveland State, but the allure of that place to me sounds like, a little bit of a quaint little town feel to it, maybe hometown.
Yeah, I mean, on campus, yeah. I mean, so the slogan is that the city is our campus. So our campus isn't big and booming and rocking. I mean, it's pretty quiet and it's all connected with an interlink, so you don't really have to go outside much. You hit one building, you can walk the whole way across campus inside, which is nice in the winter.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's a small town campus, but then you have the big city that provides all the resources in the world and all the opportunities that these kids need. And again, the type of kids we recruit are kids that want to be focused on academics and want to get that internship with a Fortune 500 company and want to, pick up that co-op in engineering and get paid pretty good money to get real life work experience. And yeah, I mean, it took me a few years, and I know when I was an assistant coach, we were kind of looking into it, but then talking to a lot of people along the way, and they're just like, hey man, you got to sell the city and sell everything that's offered. And we were able to do that, luckily, and we've gotten a lot of great kids to buy in, and parents love what we're doing and the opportunities we're given, and also the experience is second to none. And that's what's important to me. So, but yeah, Cleveland's awesome. The Guardians games are, incredible to go to. And now that not that we like basketball a whole lot, but the Cavs, man.
I was going to say, you got honored in a basketball game. I'm
yeah,
like, what
the Cavs
team does that happen to?
Yeah. And then the Browns they're a struggle, but I mean, it still brings
Steelers. Just playing with you.
Yeah, no, I'm a Steelers guy too.
Oh, my man. All right, cool.
Steelers guy, but yeah, man, Cleveland's awesome, and we host nationals next year, 2026. So a lot of hopefully a lot of people listening, and a lot of Pennsylvania people will get a chance to come to Cleveland and check things out and explore, and that'd be great. All these hopefully a bunch of high school kids come to nationals next year and kind of see the city and maybe stop by campus on one of the in between sessions and check out Cleveland State.
So Coach, when it's all said and done at Cleveland State, what's your legacy and the footprint you want to leave behind? What are you constantly talking to your wrestlers about? And when Coach Moore's done, he hangs up the shoes and the whistle. What do you want to leave behind at Cleveland State?
Just relationships and memories. Our guys are extremely close and they support each other and love each other. So I think it's what any coach wants is just kids to be happy and, feel like they made the most of their college experience and it maybe, didn't come in wins and losses, but it came with relationships and, just the memories from the road trips and bus trips and certain things we do, go out of our way to do for these guys. Introduce a lot of great speakers to them and take them to different places in Cleveland. And just, I truly enjoy that stuff as a coach, just as much as, wrestling. I mean, sometimes the wrestling part, you can get a little bit nervous, when guys go out there. And I think, we all want to win. We're all competitive and sometimes it's a little stressful and you get a little anxious and, obviously the kids have to find a way to, compete and work through that. But, what these kids will remember most, I think, will be just joking around in the locker room and, the special times they've had with each other and, and some good scraps in the room and some, the one thing too, now, we have Johnny DeJulius, which he's part of our staff. So he brings a lot of excitement and some funny times and some good stories as well. So, but just creating a family like atmosphere that, we look out for each other and, we care about each other. And, I think that's the most important thing. And I want guys to, look back in 10, 20 years and hopefully they'll be coaching and giving back, at some level. And that's something we preach too is, hey man, this sport gave you an opportunity to come compete at a Division I level. And hopefully, you'll be able to find time to help keep growing the sport and help others and give back. Because as coaches, I mean, we put a lot of time in, and sometimes, I mean, these college kids don't really realize it, they say, oh, coaches are practice today, but it's like, hey, that's only part of my job, and coaching's only a fraction of what we do. But,
the actual in-room coaching. I mean, there's so much prep work before that scene happens, after that scene happens that, a kid will never realize that what a coach goes through. And coach, you mentioned earlier that the team does group Bible study, which I love. I love hearing that. On last week's show, our show is sponsored by Faith Christian Academy. Okay. I love how everybody is so open about their faith, especially wrestlers. I mean, I feel like we're spearheading that movement, to thank Jesus for everything we have. I mean, I was a pro fighter. I wrestled. Wrestling is by far the toughest sport. I'll argue all day, every day with anybody else. Wrestling reveals the man in you at a very early age. And if that man in you is humbled in the presence of Christ and your team together does Bible study, that's an amazing feather in your hat. You have got men of faith that are, they're the guys you want to walk into a bar fight with. Any wrestler, like these guys are tough as could be. I love that, your school and your team is together in faith. Tell me how's that so much different from when I came up? When I grew up, I'm 55. So you didn't talk about politics. You didn't talk about religion.
Right.
It's out there, not being censored anymore. I love that. So what's your spin on all that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have to give credit to some guys on the team. Actually, I'd say years ago, my assistant coach was Clint Musser, and some people know his story, some people don't, but he kind of found God and changed his life and, started a little Bible study, 3-4 years ago. And, would get 5-6 guys and it moved to 10 or 12. And then, he moved on to a different job. And then some of the guys on the team actually kind of took it over. And, I think 2 or 3 guys went on a retreat this summer. I think it was Athletes in Action, and came back and now they're, as of right now, they're kind of running most of it, but we're in connection with Clint Musser and a guy that, you know, is going to come meet with us and give our guys a little bit more guidance. Cause right now they're just, you know, reading scriptures and kind of talking about things on their own and exploring, which I think is great. I mean, and they're all really into it with their Bibles and just talking and trying to talk through things and figure it out. So it's pretty cool. I think a lot of guys, I mean, and I agree. I mean, not back even when I wrestled, there wasn't, you know, people were, you know, had religious backgrounds, but it wasn't really something that you brought out too much and talked about in front of the teams. But our guys are pretty comfortable around each other. And I think we have that environment where everybody feels welcome and, you know, we listen and nobody, I mean, the guys pick on each other, but it's not about serious stuff. It's more about just joking around. So our guys feel like they can talk to each other. And that's the one thing as a coach as well. You know, there's coaches out there where wrestlers do not want to come talk to you. Like if you're a coach that, you know, even if something's going on with a wrestler, he's not going to come tell you because he doesn't feel like he can talk to, and your door's not open, and you know, you make fun of him or you just tell him to get tough or whatever. So
right.
It's a little different at Cleveland State. I mean, we're almost, you know, we feel like we're really part of the team. I mean, we're coaching them, but guys come in and sit and hang out with us, and we talk about, you know, it's more than just wrestling. You know, we want to help these kids out with life problems or financial problems or girlfriend problems, maybe. But yeah, just being available and like being relatable and, you know, sometimes going down to their level and not being, hey, you know, I'm the head coach and, you know, I was a really great wrestler, so I don't have time for you. You're like,
right. Yeah, I don't want to hear that.
Anybody and just help anybody out. And I mean, I think that's you know, as a coach, you have to really kind of take that, you know, as serious as possible and try to open up the relationships and create relationships and build on them over the course of 4 or 5 years, because there's a lot of kids are pretty quiet. At least the kids we recruit, they're really good students, good kids, but they're pretty quiet. So you don't always really know what's going through their head. There's right. So you got to work on them a little bit and, you know, talk to them as normal people, and not, you know, they shouldn't be afraid to come talk to you and share important information if they need help.
Coach, awesome interview. Now I know more about Cleveland State. You're on the map now, brother. Thank you so much for coming out, Coach Josh Moore, Cleveland State. We'll be back in a few moments at the National High School Wrestling Show. Thanks,
right.
Coach.
Thanks, Henry. All right. Thank you.
If you own a company and you're not producing a podcast, you're missing out. The public consumes messaging when they're ready. Join the professional podcast network of companies and let Jacob Media Partners put you in the podcast arena. Come to our professional studio, or we'll come to your place of business and professionally produce your company podcast. Call Jacob Media right now at 267-261-3428. 267-261-3428.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back on the National High School Wrestling Show. I am your host, Henry Racich, and on the line, we have our very first New Jersey High School Wrestling phenom, JoJo Burke. And a lot of people know this guy, Corey Cooperman, superstar wrestler with a resume longer than my short arm, and a character, I might add.
You said New Jersey phenom. I thought you were talking about me.
I'm talking about you. You are the phenom, brother. I got you all. We got two of them here. So listen, guys, thanks for joining us. You are our very first New Jersey. We've been in Pennsylvania the last couple shows. We had to show some love across the Ben Franklin to our fellow grapplers in Jersey, another tough state. Our mutual friend, JoJo Carlton Smith, a good buddy of mine. Him and I are always going back and forth. I'm a PA guy. PA Jersey. But this weekend, brother, at Escape the Rock, Jersey got the hand raised. Congratulations on your championship, JoJo.
Thank you.
So, Jojo, tell me what it's like to have what I'm going to assume is quite the character in Coach Coop in your ear during some of these pretty intense moments. Does he lighten the mood a little bit for you here and there?
Yeah, I definitely hear him screaming, jumping around in the back. It actually gets me hyped up. He gives me a nice slap on the face before I got there.
Oh, nice. One of those, the ear ringer. So,
Yeah.
Coach, listen, you had an amazing college career at Lehigh on the big stage all the time. Talk to me a little bit about what it's like working with the high school guys. You know, you've walked that walk and you've been in their shoes before. What's that like for you, Coach?
I think it's a unique experience, right? For me, when I went to Blair Academy, and I went at a unique time, right? So I try to explain the situation. You know, we had Coach Buxton, who's this, world level coach, but like 5 of my teammates to this day are still coaching at a high level, right? I mean, I'm coaching at St. Joe's. We're a nationally ranked program. My training partner, Matt Veers, was a coach of Notre Dame Green Pond. Zach Esposito has been at Oklahoma State his whole life. He's now a head assistant at NC State. Mark Perry's been doing, associated coach jobs. He's recently the RTC coach over at Sunkist, which I think recently dissolved. And then Steve Mocco. Everybody knows Mocco, right? He's still coaching for like American Top Team. So I was surrounded by a bunch of guys at a high level that all aspired for greatness. And then when you go to college, right, there's everyone there is a 3-time state champ, 4-time state champ, the senior level. These guys are aspiring for greatness. So coming down to the high school rankings, right, it's a different situation, right? Because some guys are all in, and then we have guys that are all out, right? Make no bones about it. We have an all-star team, right? But it's a very unique situation. We have guys that are hammers at the top level, and then we got guys that are the first year wrestling. Vincenzo, get in the stance. What the stance is, right? So it's going from like Kyle Dake and Jordan Oliver to Vincenzo sometimes. It's interesting, right? But I've fallen in love with the school spirit. Our coaching staff. We're very tight, unique situation where we all work together as well outside in the professional field. So it's a very incestuous relationship. We got great school spirit. We got some hammers, and it's fun. My buddy Mark coached a lot of women's programs. Mark Perry, and the big thing about it is it's to be wanted, to be needed. Right? I tell these guys, I said, I'm the Robin Hood of wrestling. I steal from the rich and I give to the needy, and you boys are the needy.
Nice.
So it's fun because you're helping them in their life. You're helping them on the mat, off the mat, and for us, we're looking to get them to the next level and help be that conduit for reaching out to college coaches.
Right. I mean, I think it's monumental and super important that these young kids have that role model in the room, someone that's walked the walk, talked the talk, been through adversity. Jojo, let's talk about your career here seems to be on the upswing, brother. Like at the Beast, at Ironman, took 7th. weren't 100% there, right? You were sick. I think we talked earlier that you found out you were really sick after the event happened. But tell me about this, man.
Yeah.
So how is this happening? I mean, you were dominant at Escape the Rock this weekend, and a lot of eyebrows raised. I mean, no one was shocked, but man, you were just at another level. You were really dialed in this weekend. Can you talk about your mindset this weekend at Escape the Rock?
Yeah, I just go out there and I just try and wrestle my best match. I don't really care about the outcome at the end, if I'm winning or if I'm losing. It only matters on my performance, and I try and bring the best performance out of myself.
Yeah, I mean, I love that what you just said there. A lot of kids get caught up in the seedings and the rankings and the press of their opponents. You seem to deal with that, in a unique way. You just stay within, right? So, does that ever shake you up? Your opponent? You ever intimidated by anybody at this age?
No, not really. I know what I'm doing. I know I'm working hard in practice, and I'm drilling as hard as I can, and I'm working just as hard as these other guys. So I don't really care about the rankings. Like I said, I just go out there and wrestle as hard as I can.
Yeah. So I mean, let's talk about your training regimen a little bit during the season, and Coach, you can chime in here too. Do you guys do daily runs? Do you get up in the morning and run? Do you before practice? You do morning workouts? You do 2 or 3 a day sometimes? What's your in schedule? I'd
like to comment first on his success.
There you go.
It takes a village, right? This guy's family's been taking him around down the Freddie Boom Boom Bachman, the Kennys. The guys that are all competing in the finals, these guys have been training together. I saw a picture of 4 years ago. We're at Tulsa Nationals. It's me, it's the Burks, it's the Farnsworths, it's the Kennys, it's the O'Neills, it's the Bachmans, right? It's the same cast.
The Basement Boys.
The Basement Boys, right?
Yes, sir.
We're out of the trailer after the tournament, hanging out, eating some food together, right? So these guys have been training for a long time. Kudos to their parents in terms of like not caring about wins and losses, right? They have a system. I don't even remember the system, but it's something like if you're at dual meet tournaments, you're going up a weight. If you're going individual tournaments, you're going up in age and maybe a weight, right? So they're throwing themselves into the fire. They've been in the deep end. He lives, he sleeps in the finals of the Escape the Rock. That's not this is his 200th time being in a situation like that, right? So he's prepared. I don't think that's going to shake him up. He's a great wrestler. He's a tremendous competitor. He's got some good technique as well, and we're going to keep polishing that. So I don't think I don't think the lights get too bright for him. He thinks he's been living in it for a while, right?
Well, I'll tell you what, JoJo, and here's a hypothetical for you. You got this wrestling in your DNA a bit. Pops is a 2-time All-American at Seton Hall. I'm sure he reminds you of that fairly regular. But let's put you guys in a little time machine. You and Pop at the same age right now. What's that match going to look like?
JoJo,
blowing him out a little harder. Yeah, no, not a lot of technique from him back in the day. So I'm gonna wipe him up.
The guys, they bring a lot of grit. He was going to go punch him in the face a little bit, but guess what? This guy's pretty tough too. He's technical. He's a great athlete, but he's a pretty ornery son of a gun as well. So, Joe Burke wasn't fortunate enough to have the good coaching and good training. He made it to the state tournament senior year, JoJo. But man, he was hungry at the right time, and could have been a national champ. He always reminds me that I was at one time more All-American, but I had great training and everything that he didn't have.
Well, yeah, I mean, today the kids get D1. You can go find it, D1 level training at 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, Coach, let's talk about the transition of this sport. So I watch these little guys go at it. This sport is now half gymnastics, half yoga, it's amazing the different technique and how they have really taken it to another level. It's hard for me to understand how the Olympics almost got rid of wrestling, but they have breakdancing. But talk to me about the evolution of this sport in your mind. And you're not that old, but I'm 55. So
first, I'd like to give a shout out to the Australian kangaroo breakdancers who did a great job out there. So I at a young age, back in my day, we had VHS tapes, right? Mm-hmm. I stole Coach Bucks's VHS at the 1995 World Championships, right? So I'm watching Takahiro Wada, Elbrus Tadiev, Buvasar Satiev, the Brands brothers, right? So I always was watching stuff at a young age, right? Zach Esposito and I lived together practically growing up. So we'd make our own tapes and things of that nature. And I commented to him later on in life and said, now this Flow Wrestling thing's out. If you want to be great, you have access to it now. Right? There's no excuse. I was stealing VHS tapes and not returning them. You know what I mean? Now, if you want, you can get online and go figure it out, right? So there's that part of it, right? The technical aspect. And then I felt like a lot of it, I said, the next transitioning part is the mind, which you're seeing with wrestling mindset is important. It's a young man's sport, right? You look at that Ono just crushing guys at 20 years old. What the body can do when it's young and fresh compared to, we take our bodies through this college grind and things of that nature. Then we're kind of older and we have a couple years left in us. Some of these guys, you have your 1% like David Taylor that can do it from 6 years old to 28, 30 years old. But yeah, it's transitioning. I think we have a great sport. I mean, I think the access with technology, some guys are like, our buddy Damien Logan, he's taking kids to Estonia. So there's Italy tours with Popolizio. I've had, Askarov out here, and we try to, there's international guys in and out. It's just things have changed a little bit in that respect. So people have access to the greatest minds. Jordan Burroughs just had Ono at his club. Coach Buxton and I had a wrestling club situation. You got 2 senior level guys in one room helping, kids who, if they really want to learn, they can learn, at the highest level. So it's been great. I think our sport is doing great in America. We're really doing a great job there. So yeah, can't see it going anywhere. I hope it doesn't go anywhere. It's been a phenomenal thing in my life, and we're just getting back to those golden ages in the United States.
Fantastic. Good stuff, Coop. JoJo, tell me what's some of your goals for in your high school career? What do you have circled?
I kind of just want to do the best I can, to be honest. Take every tournament as they come and try and dominate.
Now,
obviously, next big one is states. Definitely want to go in there and put on a show and try and win.
So you kind of have your nose to the grindstone, not really looking up, just doing the best you can do every day, and whatever result comes with that, you're okay with it. You're not overburdening yourself with too much pressure.
I mean, if I have a bad performance, I'm going to be upset, obviously, and I'm going to try and figure out how I can be better in this situation. But, yeah, I don't want to settle because never settle.
So to get down to your weight, is it tough for you to get down every week? Are you pretty stay at a stable walk around weight?
The first cut was pretty rough, but now that I'm down, you just come up and down, and it just comes right off. I have a nutritionist that I follow, Dan Warnickoff. He helps me out a lot, and yeah, he puts me on a good plan.
Nice, that's important, man.
My chocolate bar philosophy, but
what is that philosophy? The chocolate bar?
No, nothing. I was like, Nick Saban gets up and gives these talks, and he's got his Coca-Cola and Dasani bottle. So I had some Gatorade and some chocolate bars here to present up here, just in case they don't want to sponsor my stomach. JoJo had a rough first weigh-in. I think we all do. And I try to explain it to his father. It's like the third weigh-in is where you really start to settle down, right?
Oh.
So he had that tournament. He had to make weight, wrestle some guys. He just was hurting. And then he had to make weight again and wrestle guys again. And he was hurting. It's a tough place to do it at the BCDs.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Football, they're paying $1.5 million to get, East Bumble, whoever, right? Mop them up, feel good, get the confidence going, get loose, right?
Right.
One of the toughest tournaments in the country.
Yeah.
Orangeworth and guys like that, right? So that was tough. And that was a rude awakening, right? And then it gets easier the second time. Now he's really starting to settle in and getting this down. And I think you're seeing some of his best performance, and they're going to continue to go. In terms of his goals and stuff like that, I'm not speaking for him, but the guys that he's been competing with for the national level are the same guys from 7th grade, Sammy Sanchez, Farnsworth, these guys all the way through, right? His career is not going to be determined off of if he wins the state tournament this year, right? They're looking for continuity and success at the highest level and being able to compete and show that he's competitive all the time around the board, and which he's doing, right? He wasn't bad first weigh-ins. He was sick. No making excuses. His first time making weight, still placed at the BCDs, right?
Right.
Good job, right?
Wait, was that the Beast? He was under the weather, or was it Iron?
BCDs.
Okay.
Then he goes to Escape the Rock. It was the Whippeal versus JoJo.
Right.
Talking the stands, the kid, the refs, and everything. It's tough to get that call. It's tough to get that call in Moscow, right?
Yeah.
Right. So you know what? Fair enough. Chase Carabelli, he's a tough competitor, man. I've been watching him with JoJo out in Tulsa, winning his Tulsa titles. Tough kid, right? And then, it's starting to come to fruition. You have some duels and Escape the Rock. He really showed out there. And, go to the state tournament. It's not about, trying to win the state tournament. What we're trying to do is really trying to separate our gap. We got some tough competitors in state, just like we do out of state. We're trying to spread the gap on those guys, right? So it's on to the next thing. Leave no hope. Hope is a dangerous thing. We want to leave those guys going. The next time the wrestler's going, you know what? JoJo's there. I'm taking whatever underneath him. I can't beat that guy, right? We want that. We want those guys thinking like that. And we're going to go, now you're done. You're not beating us, and we're moving on to the next thing. So that's whether we win the tournament or not. That's what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to keep climbing the ladder and separating ourselves from the competition.
And he's certainly doing that.
Yeah.
Joe, have you had a crossroad moment, some adversity you have to overcome? Any injuries or anything that you, like an obstacle that you had to raise the bar, dig deep to do?
I mean, I think every wrestler, as they're going through season, they're gonna get hurt. They're gonna not be feeling 100%, but can't really think about that. You gotta just go out there and wrestle. I think adrenaline also kicks in, and then you start losing that feeling and just go out there and show out.
How about you, Coach? Any adversities, any major injuries to overcome?
Well, my coach Strobel was an interesting guy when I was a wrestler at Lehigh. And I'd be sucking weight. and I'd be hurting, and he'd be like, Coop, how do you feel? I'm like, well, my toes, and with this, and I'd go on a laundry list, and he'd be like, doesn't matter.
Nobody
Right?
cares.
I started to realize what he wanted the answer to be. He's like, Coop, how do you feel? I'm like, it doesn't matter, coach. He's like, you damn right it doesn't. And that was it. And guess what? Nobody cares.
Yeah, right. Nobody cares.
I'm wrestling against Harvard, and my shoulder's sublux, and we got to go wrestle Cornell. It's my senior year. Guess what? We need you to wrestle. Just don't shoot, he says.
Right.
I'm
Great advice.
I'm going, right?
That's
And
great
then
advice.
you start finding things. I had some adversity. I cut a lot of weight, too much weight, and I get this Epstein's Bar where I get sick every year, and I tell the story a lot. I don't want to take up too much time, but my senior year, I'm sick, I'm dying, right? And we're number 3 in the country. Oklahoma State's number 1. Oklahoma University is number 4, but my guy there's number 1. So I have an opportunity to wrestle the number 1-4 team in the country, and also number 1 and number 4 at my weight for just flip flop, right?
Right.
And, I got to lead my team into victory, and I wrestle against Oklahoma State, and I beat the guy who I ended up beating for 3rd and 4th at the NCAAs. I beat him close, and things were not going well that match. And I'm trying to call every time. My coach's like, no, and I'm like, I'm starting to be at my singlet a little bit. I'm dying here,
Right.
So I pull it off. That's adversity. That's being tough, right?
Right.
So the next day we go wrestle Oklahoma University, and this is the guy who beats me in the semifinals in overtime. He beat me in the All-Star Classic in double overtime. We had 2 burners, and he beat me so bad they needed a spatula to scrape me off the mat. They couldn't get me off the mat, and he picks me up, and he goes, listen, everybody knows you're sick, man. I'll see you at the Nationals.
Wow.
That's
Pretty cool of him to say.
Well, I look over in the stands. This is the best part of the story. Is my father didn't care. He was just there to support me. He was a hippie, So he's in the stands. I look over at him, and he goes, and I'm like, did you see the match? Did you see the match? And he goes,
right.
So it's adversity, right? But nobody cares how you're doing. The people are there for a show, and it's your job to put it on. And he's having some adversity. We got a lot of adversity going on this year. It's been a Murphy's Law for our team.
Yeah, a lot of injuries, right?
Yeah, we started off the season ranked 2nd in the country. Before the season starts, our state champ, he's gone for the year. Then, quickly within it, one of our seniors, staple guys, has been in line for a long time. He's gone too. And then we got 2 guys out for transfers. One guy damn near breaks his neck. I thought this kid was going to be like it with a straw zooming around. It'll be like it was one of the scariest things I've seen as a coach.
Wow.
And he's going to find out tomorrow. He's looking to get back in the lineup tomorrow.
He's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, he's good.
The 2 transfers looking to get back in. So, what we did at the tournament, taking 3rd, and I have a whole lot of respect for the Malvern program. Respect with that. For us to finish in front of them, I told my guys, I'm impressed by you guys because of how much respect I have for Malvern Prep. For you guys to beat them,
right?
I mean, kudos to you.
Yeah, they're up there, brother.
And with 3 guys coming back in the lineup, 2 that are pretty nationally ranked high, and I have one who lives upstairs right now. He's actually a Pennsylvania kid.
Right.
They're coming in the lineup. You add those points in, we're right there with the top other 2 teams in the country.
Right.
So we got a good thing going on at St. Joseph Regional in Montville, New Jersey. Little plug there. Hey, boys, you're more than welcome to come too.
Yep. Jojo, before we roll out of here, I'm going to give you I'm going to spitfire a couple of things at you. Forget your coaches right next to you for a second. For this first question, your favorite wrestler of all time?
My favorite wrestler of all time?
Yeah.
This is hard, honestly. I'd probably say, and if he hears this, he's not going to shut up about it, but I'd probably say my dad, just because.
Oh, that's great, brother. I love that. That's good right there. That's a good jersey. That's a good boy right there.
That's a good boy right there. Good job.
Did you see Unstoppable yet? Did you guys see that movie?
No.
No way. All right. It's pretty fantastic. I'm not going to spoil it. I'll let you guys.
I was coaching during the process. I was there for the whole thing. I coached against Robles.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool story, right?
Yeah. He was a pain in the butt to wrestle, man. He had a torso of a 220-pound guy. You know what I mean? He grabbed those kids' wrists. Like,
wow. Yeah. I never thought about that.
Oh, it was a problem.
Strong as hell, right?
He was a problem.
Sweep the leg, Cobra Kai. Jojo, favorite NFL team?
Sadly, the Jets.
Wow. I guess you're keeping it in Jersey. That's all good. All right, let me get your favorite movie.
Oh God, favorite movie.
No?
Maybe Wolf of Wall Street.
Okay. It's respectable. It's respectable. What kind of music do you listen to when you're training, JoJo? Whatever's playing at the river?
I don't listen to like crazy rap. I kind of keep it calm and listen to like some white girl music, like some pop music.
Taylor Swift?
Yeah, no, not Taylor Swift, but like some Lady Gaga, she gets me bumping a little bit.
Oh, all right. Who's the cooler Bachman? Right? The old man.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to go. I'll go Freddie just because he's fun to Joe with.
Hey, Coop, who's your favorite wrestler of all time coming up?
Ooh, I was a Sativ guy. I studied the European guys a lot more. And I've been blessed to run into some of these guys. I'm more of an international style. I really have a thing for the technique. In college and stuff like that, I learned about the grind of the hand fight, and there's a beautiful art to that as well. But man, I can. These guys send until 11 o'clock last night. I'm sending him videos about Sativ working into his hooks and stuff like that. I just I don't fish, I don't hunt. This is what I do.
No, I love it, man. You got a real passion for this. I think the kids are lucky to have you. I think you're a big kid yourself, a little bit inside, and that's what they love, man.
The kid,
dude, I'm the same way, bro. I love it. All right, listen, thanks for representing Jersey on our National High School Wrestling Show. I'm going to have you guys back on before the end of the year. I'm going to check in on your state run and all that good stuff. All right, fellas?
Please, thank you. We
appreciate it.
All right,
thank you, guys. All right, we're checking out here. It's Henry Racing to the National High School Wrestling Show. Jersey's in the house.
If you own a company and you're not producing a podcast, you're missing out. The public consumes messaging when they're ready. Join the professional podcast network of companies and let Jacob Media Partners put you in the podcast arena. Come to our professional studio, or we'll come to your place of business and professionally produce your company podcast. Call Jacob Media right now at 267-261-3428. 267-261-3428. And back on the National High School Wrestling Show with Henry Racich. Good lineup today, Henry. Good fun in the second half of the show today with the coach and JoJo from St. Joe's. Really good conversation. Great to get inside the mind, and see what makes them tick on a daily basis.
Nah, man, that was a really good segment there with both Josh Moore at Cleveland State and JoJo Burke and Corey Cooperman, who he's a character, man. Listen, wrestling's a grueling, brutal sport. It's great when you have a coach that's fun like that, that's been there. He's been to the bottom of the mountain, to the top of the mountaintop, and JoJo Burke's well on his way to doing the same thing. He's a freshman over there, made a lot of waves this weekend. Those same names go round and round. You got the Bachmans, your Bassetts. You have JoJo Burke now. You have Justin Farnsworth, Matt O'Neill, all those young guns. Those weight classes are exciting. And, we're excited to keep bringing them on every week and highlight this sport. What an amazing sport. What an amazing sport it is these days, too, with the international fame that these guys have wrestling all around the world. It's a lot different when I grew up, Joe. Our road trip was out to Reading was a big deal coming from Conshohocken. But this sport has taken these kids international. I love it. Love to be part of it.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the National High School Wrestling Show. We're presented by Faith Christian Academy. Glad to be right back with you. We'll be right back again next week with another episode and another edition of the National High School Wrestling Show with Henry Racich. On behalf of our guests today, on behalf of all of our viewers and our subscribers and our listeners of the National High School Wrestling Show, see you next time, everybody.
What if you could earn an MBA fully online in just 10 months for only $9,900? Eastern University's cutting-edge MBA in Organizational Management is designed to fit what you need in an MBA program. Our innovative LifeFlex model offers 100% online classes that you can complete at your own pace within each 7-week semester. We know how hard you work for your money, so we're thrilled to offer our MBA at only $9,900, making our program between 50 to 80% less expensive than most other schools, while ensuring quality and excellence with the support of our expert faculty. We even offer a concentration in business analytics, an essential skill set needed in today's data-driven economy. With start dates every 7 weeks, Eastern's MBA is handcrafted for you and your needs. So what are you waiting for? Apply today at eastern.edu/MBA.